The woman I was dating said, "Don't come to my family's Christmas Eve dinner. Brent will be there and I need it to be just us." I replied, "Then keep it just you." Then I returned the gift, canceled our reservation, packed my things, and her closure turned into a front row seat to Brent's new life. Hey friends, please subscribe and turn on notifications, like this video, and leave a comment with your impressions. This will be a great help. Thank you. We never tire of reminding you. It's all thanks to you. I live in Salt Lake City, Utah, and for most of last year my life was finally steady in a way I'd worked hard for. I'm not flashy. I'm the guy who pays bills early, keeps the car serviced, and reads contracts before I sign them. I manage operations for a regional shipping company, nothing glamorous, but it's solid work with solid people. That's where I met Alyssa. She worked for a local outdoor apparel brand in their events and partnerships team. If you've ever been to those community runs or holiday pop-up markets, that was her world. She was organized, personable, always moving. When she laughed, she did it with her whole face. The first time we grabbed coffee after a planning meeting, she told me she liked men who were calm on purpose, and I remember thinking that was a strange way to put it, but I liked it. For a while, we made sense. We'd been together a little over a year, not married, not engaged. We weren't living together full-time, but I spent most nights at her condo in Sugar House and she kept a drawer at my place. We did the normal things, Costco runs, Sunday hikes in Mill Creek Canyon, lazy breakfasts, movie nights where we'd argue about which documentary to watch. December was always a big month for Alyssa. Her job revolved around holiday campaigns, vendor dinners, end-of-year partnerships. I knew that, so I tried to be supportive and not add more to her plate. And still, I planned something. In October, she stopped in front of a jewelry display at a small shop downtown, one of those places that sells handcrafted pieces with stones that actually look like they came from somewhere. She pointed at a simple silver necklace with a little mountain outline and said, "That's so stupidly perfect. I'd wear that every day." She didn't ask for it. She didn't even linger long, but it stuck in my head because she was being honest, not performing. So I bought it a week later. I didn't tell her. I didn't do the thing where I teased, "Guess what I got you." I just bought it, put it in a small blue box, and kept it in my desk drawer like a secret. The second part of my plan was a trip. Alyssa loved the kind of winter that feels like a movie. Lights, snow, warm drinks, a little old-fashioned charm. So I booked us 2 nights at a lodge up in Park City for the weekend after Christmas. It wasn't a huge vacation. It was close, practical, and still special. We'd do Main Street, a sleigh ride if we felt like it, and one fancy dinner where she could wear the green dress she liked but never had an excuse to wear. I booked it under my name, used my card, and got the confirmation emails with the cancellation policies, the deposit details, the whole thing. I'm that guy. I save emails. I forward myself receipts. It's not paranoia. It's just how I move through life. Christmas Eve was the piece that mattered most to her, though. Alyssa's family had a standing tradition in Provo, dinner at her parents' house, a big spread, then gifts, then her dad playing the same old records while everyone pretended they weren't tired. She talked about it since Thanksgiving. She told me her mom had been asking about me, her sister wanted to meet me when she's not in leggings, and her dad just wants to see if you're a decent man. It sounded like a milestone. Alyssa had also told me about her ex, Brent, not constantly, not in a he's the love of my life way, more like he was a fact on her timeline. They dated in their 20s, on and off messy. He worked in real estate now. She said they'd ended things for real 2 years before we met, but they still popped up in the same circles. I didn't love it, but I didn't make it a thing either. Adults have history. The only thing I asked early on was, "Are you still actively in each other's lives?" She said, "No, it's done. I learned that lesson." I believed her. The first crack happened on a Tuesday in mid-December, when my phone buzzed at work with a notification from our shared calendar. Alyssa and I used it for practical things, dog-sitting schedules, flights, reminders, appointments. When something changed, I'd get a little alert. That day it said, "Event updated, Christmas Eve dinner, the Petersons." I tapped it without thinking. The guest list had been edited. My name was gone. And in the notes section, there was a new line, "Family only this year, please understand." I stared at it longer than I'd like to admit. It was a small rectangle of text, but it felt like a door shutting quietly in my face. I didn't blow up her phone. I didn't send 5 messages in a row. I waited until lunch, because that's what I do when I'm trying to stay rational. Then I texted her one sentence. "Hey, did something change for Christmas Eve?" She didn't respond for almost an hour, and when she did, it was, "Can we talk tonight?" That's never a good sign. When I got to her condo, she had candles lit like it was supposed to soften what she was about to say. She was in sweatpants, hair in a messy bun, and she had that look people get when they've already decided something and they're just preparing you to accept it. I kept my voice even. What's going on with Christmas Eve? She exhaled like she'd been holding her breath all day. Okay, so Brent is coming. I nodded once, okay. And my mom, she started, then stopped and restarted like she was reading from a script. My mom thinks it would be better if it's just family, because it's already going to be complicated. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't even stand up. I just said, so the solution is uninviting me. It's not like that, she said quickly. It's not personal. I looked at her, waiting for the part that made sense. She continued, Brent and I need to have a mature moment, like closure, and my family is going to be there, and it would be weird if you were there too. It's too much. I let the silence sit for a beat. You want me excluded so you can have a closure moment with your ex at your family's Christmas dinner. She winced. When you say it like that, it sounds bad. It sounds like what it is, I said. She stepped closer, palms out like she was trying to calm a wild animal. Please don't do the thing where you get cold and shut down. I'm trying to handle this like an adult. I kept my tone flat. Adults don't remove their partner from the calendar and call it family only. Adults talk. Her eyes flashed. I didn't want to fight about it. I'm not fighting, I said. I'm asking you why my place in your life is temporary the moment your ex shows up. She crossed her arms. It's one dinner. You're making it a bigger deal than it needs to be. I had a thought then, clear as a bell. If you can be erased with one calendar edit, you weren't really written in. I asked the question that mattered. If Brent wasn't coming, would I be invited? She hesitated just a fraction, and that told me everything. She tried a different angle. You're so secure normally. That's what I love about you. That line landed wrong. It felt like she was using my good trait against me, like my calm was supposed to be permission for her to do whatever she wanted. I stood up. I'm not insecure. I'm paying attention. Her voice went softer. I just need this to go smoothly. For my family, for me, it's one night, then we have our weekend, Park City. You said you booked something, right? I didn't answer that. She stepped closer again. Please, don't make me choose on Christmas. I looked at her and said, you already did. That's when she delivered the line that ended it, even if she didn't know it yet. She said, don't come. Brent will be there, and I want it to be just us. Not just family, not just to keep things calm, just us. Her and him. I didn't argue. I didn't call her names. I didn't demand explanations. I just nodded once like I'd received a delivery. Okay, I said, then keep it just you. She blinked, confused. What does that mean? It means I'm not going to stand in the hallway of your life waiting for you to decide where I belong, I said, calm as ever. I'm going to make my own plans. She scoffed like she wanted to pretend I was being dramatic. You're being so intense. No, I said, I'm being clear. I grabbed my jacket. In my pocket, I could feel the small blue box, because I'd brought it over that night, thinking maybe I'd still surprise her early, maybe it would soften her stress. It felt heavier than it should have. At the door, she called after me, so what, you're just leaving? I turned back. I'm going to sleep at my place tonight. That's childish, she snapped. I didn't react. Good night, Alyssa. I drove home in silence, hands steady on the wheel. I didn't cry. I didn't blast music. I just felt something settle into place, like a puzzle piece clicking when you finally stop forcing the wrong shape. The next morning, I did what I always do when life gets messy. I went into logistics mode. First, I opened my email and searched the lodge confirmation. There it was, 2 nights deposit cancellation window. I clicked cancel reservation. It asked for a reason and I typed change of plans because that's what it was. A minute later, a confirmation email landed in my inbox. Your reservation has been canceled. Refund will be processed within 5-7 business days. I saved it to a folder. Then I went to my desk drawer and pulled out the blue box. I didn't open it. I didn't second guess. I drove downtown on my lunch break, walked into the shop, and told the woman behind the counter, I need to return this. She asked if everything was okay, in that polite retail way. I said it's not, but the return policy is. She gave me a sympathetic smile, processed the refund, and printed a receipt. I put it in my wallet like it was a document. After work, I stopped by Alyssa's condo when I knew she'd be at a vendor dinner. I wasn't sneaking. I still had a key because she'd given it to me months earlier and never asked for it back. My stuff was there, and I wasn't leaving it behind to be used as a bargaining chip. I went in, turned on one lamp, and packed only what was mine. A couple sweaters, work shirts, my toothbrush, my phone charger, the book I'd been reading, the framed photo of my dad I kept on her shelf because I liked seeing it. Small things, but they were my life. I didn't take anything we'd bought together. I didn't take the cookware I'd contributed because it felt petty. I didn't even take the extra set of keys to my place she had because I didn't want to touch her things. I just wanted out clean. On the kitchen counter, I left her key and a short note. Alyssa, I'm moving forward. I canceled the lodge reservation. I returned the gift. Please don't contact me unless it's practical. Evan. That was it. No speech, no insults, no long explanation she could twist into an argument. I walked out and locked the door behind me. That night my phone stayed quiet until 11:47 p.m. Her first message was, "Are you serious right now?" I didn't answer. The next message came 5 minutes later. "You canceled Park City. Evan, what the hell?" I still didn't answer. I wasn't doing the back and forth where I explain and she debates whether my feelings are allowed. I'd already made the decision. The logistics were done. The morning of Christmas Eve, I got another calendar notification. Event updated, Christmas Eve dinner, the Petersons. This time the note said, "Brent plus guest arriving at 6, please be kind." I remember staring at that plus guest and feeling nothing but a dull confirmation. Of course. I spent Christmas Eve the way I hadn't expected, at my sister's house in West Jordan, helping her kids assemble a toy train set while my brother-in-law burned the rolls. It was loud and imperfect and warm. Nobody edited me out of a calendar. Nobody needed me to be secure so they could prioritize someone else. At 9:12 p.m., my phone rang. Alyssa. I let it go to voicemail. A minute later, the voicemail appeared. I listened because I'm not reckless. I wanted to know if she was claiming some emergency that could drag me back into her orbit. Her voice came through, breathy and sharp. "Evan, you have to call me right now. You don't understand what just happened. Brent showed up with someone and my mom is freaking out. Everybody is looking at me like I knew. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. He brought his fiancée. She's pregnant. He handed my dad a little box like it was some kind of announcement, and this is humiliating. I can't do this. Call me." She didn't say, "I'm sorry," not once. It was all humiliation, all optics, all her. I put the phone down and went back to tightening a tiny screw into the train set while my niece watched like it was surgery. The next day, Christmas morning, Alyssa texted me a photo. It was a blurry shot of Brent and a woman with a visible baby bump standing in front of Alyssa's parents' fireplace, smiling like they belonged there. Brent's arm was around the woman's waist. Alyssa's dad was in the background holding a little grandpa mug. The message under it said, "He never told me. Everyone thinks I'm the villain." I stared at it for a long moment and finally typed one sentence. I wasn't willing to be the backup plan when your first plan walked in. Then I stopped. I didn't block her yet. I knew what was coming next. People like Alyssa don't sit with consequences quietly. They turn it into a courtroom. The blame shifting started that afternoon. "You're so heartless. I needed you last night." My mom asked where you were and I looked stupid. "You could have been supportive." Supportive, like I was a prop she expected to stand in the corner and absorb her stress while she managed her image. I didn't respond. 2 days later, she tried a sweeter tone. "I miss you. Can we talk like adults? I'm sorry things got messy." Not "I'm sorry I uninvited you." Not "I'm sorry I told you I wanted it to be just me and him." Just messy, like a spilled drink. Then came the escalation. Her friend Marissa texted me out of nowhere. I'd met Marissa twice. She was the kind of woman who spoke like every sentence was a verdict. Evan, this is cruel. Alyssa is devastated. What you did was punitive. Punitive, like canceling a reservation I paid for, was a crime. I didn't respond. That evening, Alyssa sent the text that actually made me laugh once, just a short exhale. She wrote, Brent said if you were a real man you'd have fought for me. He said you're weak. There it was, the toxic line, gift-wrapped. I could practically hear her reading it back to herself, convincing herself it was evidence she was still desirable, still worth fighting over. Like men should compete in her living room for the privilege of being removed from her calendar later. That's when I sent my final boundary message. It was short, calm, final. Alyssa, I'm not competing with Brent or auditioning for your family's approval. You removed me from your life the moment it got inconvenient. I'm done. Please don't contact me again. Then I blocked her number. Not out of anger, out of hygiene. In the weeks after, I kept things simple. I went to work, I went to the gym. I cleaned my apartment like I was resetting my brain. I returned the few holiday gifts I'd bought for her family, still in bags, still with tags, because there was no reason to hold on to them like a sad museum. The lodge refund hit my account on schedule. The jewelry refund posted 2 days later. The receipts did what receipts do. They closed loops. In early January, Alyssa tried the side door. She emailed me. The subject line was, please. In the body, she wrote a lot of words about how she'd been overwhelmed, how her family pressured her, how Brent ambushed her. She ended with, I didn't mean to hurt you. Still no ownership for the exact choice she made, no direct apology for the uninvite, no acknowledgement of that line, I want it to be just us, like it had never happened. I didn't reply. A few days after that, her mom called me. I didn't have her number saved, but I recognized the Provo area code and the timing. I let it go to voicemail. Her mom's voice was polite, strained. Evan, honey, it's Denise. I hope you're doing okay. Alyssa is having a hard time. We all are. Families are complicated and misunderstandings happen. We'd love if you could come by and talk. Just clear the air. She cares about you. Clear the air. That phrase always makes me think of smoke after a fire. The house is already burned, but people want to stand there and discuss the weather. I didn't call back. By February, the story had become background noise. My life was quieter without the constant emotional weather forecast. I moved some furniture around. I started cooking again instead of just assembling meals. I accepted a promotion that had been floating around for months, more responsibility, more travel, and honestly, it felt good to say yes without having to manage someone else's insecurities about my time. I wasn't thriving in a revenge way, I was just stable, and that, after a situation like that, feels like winning. Spring came, the snow softened, the city went back to normal. Then in May, I went to an outdoor industry networking event at a downtown hotel, one of those things my company attended because we ship for a lot of retail brands. It was the kind of room full of polite conversations and name tags and people pretending the cheese platter was interesting. I was there with my director, Rita, and a client from a new account we were courting, an older guy named Don who'd built his business the slow way, the way I respect. We were talking about freight timing and seasonal demand, and I was focused. I wasn't scanning the room for ghosts. Then I heard my name. Evan. I turned, and there she was. Alyssa looked good in the way she always did when she had an audience. Hair done, makeup perfect, a fitted blazer. She held a drink she hadn't sipped yet like it was a prop. For a second, her face softened, like she was seeing a version of her life that could have continued if she hadn't pulled that calendar edit. Then it tightened again, like she was preparing to perform. Hi, I said, neutral, polite, like you do with someone you used to know. She took a small step closer. Can we talk, just for a minute? Rita and Don were still beside me, but they gave that slight body language of people sensing personal history. Rita raised her eyebrows at me like, are you okay? I kept my voice calm. There's nothing to talk about. Alyssa forced a laugh. Come on, it's been months. I just want closure. Closure, that word again. It was almost funny how much she depended on it, like a magic key that opened every door she'd slammed. She lowered her voice. I was in a bad place. You left at my lowest. I didn't react to the bait. I didn't correct her framing. I simply told the truth. I left when you told me I wasn't welcome because you wanted it to be just you with your ex, I said, still quiet, still even. That wasn't your lowest. That was your choice. Her eyes flicked toward Rita and Dawn, like she realized she didn't have control of the narrative in this room. She tried to regain it with a softer tone. That's not what I meant. It's what you said, I replied. For a second, she looked like she might push harder, like she might try to get an emotional reaction out of me so she could walk away thinking she still mattered. Then Dawn extended his hand to her, friendly as ever. Hi there, I'm Dawn. We were just talking business with Evan. Alyssa's smile turned a little stiff. Alyssa. Dawn nodded. Nice to meet you. Evan's been impressive, calm, thorough, the kind of man you want running logistics. Alyssa blinked. That comment shouldn't have mattered, but it did, because it reminded her of the thing she'd taken for granted, my steadiness, and how easy it had been for her to assume I'd always be there, waiting. She turned back to me and the performance slipped. So that's it, you're just done. I gave her the one strong line I'd prepared without even trying to prepare it. I'm not angry, Alyssa. You just don't get access to me anymore. Her mouth opened, then closed. Rita touched my elbow gently and said, Evan, we should go say hello to the Mercer team. Yep, I said. Alyssa stood there for a second as we walked away, like she was waiting for me to turn back. I didn't. Later that night, I saw her across the room talking animatedly to someone, laughing too loud, the same audience voice, the same need to control the room. I went home, made a simple dinner, and checked my email. A shipping confirmation came through for a client order, right on schedule, practical, clean, predictable. The kind of life you build when you stop letting someone edit you out of your own calendar. If you've ever been quietly uninvited so someone else could be prioritized, I'm curious, what did you do next? Drop your thoughts in the comments.